Welcome to the Mystery Archive. This is the home of forgotten stories, unexplained events, and, well, some of the strangest anomalies history left behind. Imagine, if you will, a fleet of Viking longships, the most advanced vessels of their age, crewed by legendary seafarers who had conquered routes from Scandinavia to Constantinople, vanishing without leaving a single piece of wreckage or, honestly, a lone survivor to tell the tale. These weren't just isolated incidents of ships lost to storms. Multiple expeditions, sometimes entire fleets numbering dozens of vessels, simply sailed beyond the horizon and, well, never returned. No distress signals, no bodies washing ashore, no debris fields discovered by subsequent voyages. The Vikings, who had mastered oceanic navigation centuries before other European powers even dared venture far from coastlines, disappeared with such completeness that even their legendary sagas offer only cryptic hints about what might have claimed them. Today, we're investigating whether their renowned navigational prowess actually concealed fatal flaws, or if these master mariners encountered something in the North Atlantic that, just defied all their accumulated wisdom and experience. The scale of Viking maritime disappearances is honestly staggering when you examine the historical record carefully. We're not discussing the expected attrition of medieval seafaring, where storms and accidents claimed individual ships. We're talking about documented expeditions where entire fleets departed with clear destinations, favorable conditions, and experienced crews, then simply ceased to exist. The sagas mention these events with unsettling brevity, often just noting that a particular jarl or chieftain sailed west and was never seen again, or that the ships went into the fog and did not return. Consider for a moment the Greenland colonies' supply routes. At the height of Norse settlement in Greenland, there were regular ships travelling between Iceland, Greenland, and Norway, carrying essential supplies, trade goods, and settlers. These routes were, well established and had been travelled annually for generations, yet the historical record shows that there were multiple years where entire supply fleets simply vanished, not just delayed, not driven off course and arriving late, completely disappeared. This wasn't just random bad luck. Something systematic was intercepting or destroying these vessels with, honestly, remarkable efficiency. Viking navigation represents really one of history's most impressive technological achievements. Without compasses or detailed charts, they crossed the North Atlantic routinely, establishing colonies in Iceland, Greenland, and even, for a brief time, in North America. Their methods combined solar navigation using sun compasses, observation of ocean currents and wildlife behavior, careful noting of coastal landmarks, and possibly the use of calcite crystals called sunstones to locate the sun's position even through cloud cover. The question is whether they were sufficient for the challenges the North Atlantic presented. The North Atlantic is uniquely treacherous. Weather systems develop with brutal speed, visibility drops to zero in sudden fog banks, and pack ice extends far south of where it appears on modern charts during cold periods. The medieval warm period, when Viking expansion peaked, was followed by the Little Ice Age, which dramatically altered sea conditions. But here's the critical weakness in Viking navigation. It was entirely dependent on visibility and recognizable landmarks. Their latitude sailing technique required seeing celestial bodies or distant coastlines. In prolonged fog or during polar night conditions, even the most skilled navigator became essentially blind. If a fleet entered dense fog and lost visual contact with land or celestial reference points, they could sail in circles for days, exhausting provisions while remaining convinced they were making progress. Rogue waves offer a particularly chilling explanation for sudden, complete disappearances. These massive waves, sometimes reaching heights of 100 feet or more, form through complex interactions between currents, wind, and ocean floor topography. They appear suddenly from relatively calm seas, strike with devastating force, and dissipate just as quickly. The possibility of hostile encounters deserves serious consideration. While the sagas record many Viking battles and conflicts, they focus on glorious combat with worthy opponents. Massacres where entire crews were killed without fighting back might have been considered too shameful to record in detail. The North Atlantic wasn't empty. Indigenous populations in Greenland and North America, initially surprised by Norse arrivals, eventually developed effective resistance. Magnetic anomalies in the North Atlantic present a fascinating and underexplored possibility. While Vikings didn't rely on magnetic compasses, they may have been aware of magnetic properties in certain rocks and used them as navigational aids. Regions of unusual magnetic activity could have interfered with any magnetic navigation tools, while also creating disturbing psychological effects. Disease represents another overlooked factor. Viking ships were cramped, with crews living in close quarters for weeks or months. A single infected crew member could spread illness through an entire fleet. Scurvy, pneumonia, food poisoning from contaminated provisions, or any number of medieval diseases could have incapacitated crews, leaving ships adrift and helpless. The Viking disappearances find eerie parallels in modern maritime mysteries. The Bermuda Triangle, despite debunking efforts, continues to claim vessels under circumstances that defy easy explanation. The ocean's vastness means that, even with satellite tracking and advanced communication, ships can still vanish completely. What makes these ancient mysteries particularly haunting is their finality. No black boxes, no mayday calls, no scattered life preservers to mark where disaster struck. The ships sailed into the unknown and became part of it, leaving only absence. The enduring fascination with these disappearances stems from what they reveal about human vulnerability. The Vikings represented the peak of medieval maritime capability. If their skills, experience, and legendary courage couldn't guarantee safe passage, what hope did anyone have? Perhaps the most unsettling possibility is that we'll never know the truth. The ocean keeps its secrets with remarkable tenacity. Wooden ships, decay completely in seawater within decades, leaving no archaeological evidence. Without survivors or detailed records, we're left with speculation and, the uncomfortable knowledge that highly competent people can vanish without explanation. The Vikings weren't ignorant primitives. They were, actually, sophisticated navigators who conquered oceanic routes that terrified other European sailors for centuries after. Yet, they disappeared in numbers large enough to be historically significant, completely enough to leave no trace, and mysteriously enough that their own saga writers could offer no satisfying explanation. Whatever claimed these ships was powerful enough to overcome Viking seamanship, swift enough to prevent escape, and thorough enough to leave no evidence. That combination of factors should give us pause. The ocean that swallowed Viking fleets hasn't become measurably safer or more comprehensible. We've just developed better ways to avoid acknowledging how little control we actually have over it. If this investigation into one of history's most enduring maritime mysteries has left you contemplating the vast unknowns that still surround us, subscribe to the Mystery Archive for more deep dives into the vanishings, anomalies, and unexplained events that challenge our understanding of history. Share this with fellow mystery enthusiasts who appreciate that sometimes the absence of answers is more revealing than any explanation could be.